Okay, now let me
Turn it around.
yeah, turn it
Okay.
around so you can see.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, nice.
See where I live.
Oh,
Here, we're gonna turn it this way.
Lots of windows.
wow. Looks nice and sunny.
Oh, look, it's that water.
Oh,
looking
beautiful.
out
Wow.
That's
Oh, wow.
great.
That's
very
the
pretty.
Manatee River.
And you just look out your window and can see it every day. That's great.
That's
Yes.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It's chilly here.
Oh.
It's chilly up in Connecticut.
I was going to say, I'm noticing the difference between my attire and Peg's.
That's right. I
And
noticed
look at
right away.
Laconia.
Sleeveless shirt.
Look at Laconia. He looks
Bundled up,
very cuddly.
cozy.
Cozy.
I feel very
Yes.
cozy, Sarah.
Oh.
So everybody, it's going to be come and go throughout the day. I know Ann and I are going to be here the whole 3 hours. I don't know, people will come in. I'm going to go ahead and start. Peg will intervene at any time. It'll be conversational. We've already gotten off to a good start, but I'll just tell you what I think of Peg and what she means to me, and then we're off to the races. This morning, as I was lying in bed, I remembered my first time meeting Peg. I was at a Storytelling Anon meeting, and some of you know that I tell the story Grandma Ruth and Blackie. JG had worked with me on that story, and I had never told that story publicly. It had remained within me for 22 years.
Wow.
Telling it to a bunch of complete strangers, completely was completely vulnerable, was scared. But Peg came up to me afterwards and shared that, did you recognize how quiet the room was? Which I really didn't. And then Peg put her hands on my shoulder, and I used to be called Lot back then. And she goes, Lot, I know storytellers. Lot, you're a storyteller. And I
think we can listen while I go.
I've never forgotten that. Peg, it is a testament to how you have suckered and encouraged people over all the years. And I want to say thank you.
Oh no. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Wow.
Well, you know, that must be a tag line for you, Peg, because you did the same thing when you and I first met. And you were telling stories, I think at WestCon, but you were on a stage somewhere, and I went up and we were talking, and you looked at me and said, you know what? I think you're a storyteller. It shows, you know, and we've just been chatting, you know. But I really do. I've won 3 Tall Tale Awards in my Toastmasters group. And I had to teach them the difference between a tall tale and a fairy tale. Tall tales don't have magic. They just have improbabilities. But there are no things like genies or fairies or, you know, in a tall tale. But just being with Connecticut Storytelling and getting started in it, it has just really enhanced my whole life. And it's all because of you, Peg.
Thank
You
you.
started, I'd been telling stories, but sort of in my classroom and so forth, you know, never public much. But you got me started and it's been great. So I thank you very much for that.
Oh,
Gave me the confidence.
thank you for telling me.
Participate. You'll figure it out.
And I see Judy Peterson. Hello. And I
Yes.
see Jane Bredesen. Hello.
Nice.
Him?
Oh, Antonio. Okay, great.
Hey,
I don't know who's in charge, but maybe
hi
we can all
Peg.
be muted except the speaker.
Yes, I was just going to suggest, it's best for audio if you could mute yourself unless you're speaking. There are little reactions down at the bottom of your screen with a thumbs up or an applause. But that does kind of help things not echo. And I'm Brian, I'm Peg's pastor, and I'm just here for tech for the most part. Laconia opened us wonderfully saying this is a conversation. When you are ready to go, unmute and tell your story. And if a couple people do it, I or Laconia, somebody will assign who to go first and who's second. Enjoy.
So it would just help me if you just said your name so I can write it down, since I don't know all your faces.
And because I can't remember my own name.
You know what I did when I couldn't remember? I thought I'd put my name inside my jackets so that I could, just remember and just glance in. And I introduced myself as LL Bean one time. No difference.
That's cute.
You're funny.
Now is that Martha? Are you
No, that's
Martha, sometimes called Marty. Yes.
Marty? Okay.
Oh, another hint, guys.
I-
If you're muted and you want to speak, you can just press down on the space bar, and that should unmute you for temporary. And the minute you take your hand off, then you're muted again.
Keep talking.
I wanted to just, in terms of how to figure out who is who, if the person who's trying to write the names down slides their mouse a little bit, you can see all the names pop up on most, and maybe Anne will rename herself.
It's funny, sometimes I show up as Connecticut Storytelling and sometimes I show up as Ann Shapiro, but my real name is Ann Shapiro.
There's Peggy, and there's the senator. So you can turn the volume up just to.
Here are the names. I'm just going to say them, and I'm going to mispronounce them. Please apologize. Judy Peterson is here.
Oh, hi, Judy.
Brian, if you
Yes.
wanted me to, I could type them up on a Word document and email it to Laconia,
Oh, okay.
so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So let me suggest, though, when you speak, especially the first time, maybe even the second, just say your name again. So, because some people can only see one person on the screen, and
it helps Pego too.
yes, and it helps Peg. Yes.
One thing that you might, I don't know how to do this, but our son had a birthday party for me in April, and he had the whole family, my family, his family, everybody was on the screen. And he sent me a picture of the screen. So I have pictures of all the people who were at the party. And that is a treasure.
I
Because
can do that a few times also.
that would be, I think that Peg would enjoy that. She got
Yeah, that's a
pictures
screenshot.
with, yeah.
And just a reminder, we are recording this for Peg's benefit and some others who cannot be here.
So no cursing. I see Antonio, Rita Auerbach is here, Carol Birchie here, Ken Corsby, and Richard Sterren is here. So welcome.
Yes.
Christina
Yes.
Sharon
And Christina Elias.
too.
Oh, my.
And I apologize a lot. How do you get in line to speak?
You're good right now, Rita.
Okay, so Peg, I just want to say that in a lot of ways, you've changed my life. And first of all, with the amazing conferences that you've organized, which means so much, I think, to all of us here. but on a more personal level, in the way you've given encouragement to people. Nobody in my life was ever more encouraging than you. And I think that in that respect, you've changed many people's lives.
Oh, thank
So it is a privilege to be here. I love you, Peg, and I thank you so much for all you have done for so many people. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
I'll be back and I'll join you again in here. This way when Colin comes, we can get to work.
I don't know.
I don't-
Christina, do you want to speak?
Can I say?
I will.
Okay.
I will. Hi, Peg. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. Okay. I was thinking about years and years ago, when you came to Greenwich to introduce me to children's books. And on the side, you introduced me to storytelling. So we bought your children's books, but we also bought your storytelling at every grade level, everywhere.
You were assistant superintendent
And I was ever so grateful for that, for your introducing me
to the school system.
to that whole world of storytelling. I mean, I have a theater degree, but it's just not the same. Anyway, I thank you for all of the love that you've given me and the good advice that you've given me, and even sharing your home with me for 2 months. You don't remember that?
No.
I cooked every night. Anyway, I'm very grateful to have had you in my life and in Richard's life too.
Good. Thank you so much.
Is this
Christina,
Christina?
Christina, I remember that Peg told the story at yours and Richard's
My
wedding.
wedding. Yes, you certainly do, because you were one of the ministers there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Peggy told a story.
Whoa.
Wedding. You sure did. You went up to the altar and you told the story about
The first strawberries.
the strawberries, right?
The first strawberries.
Mm-hmm. Right. And everyone loved it. And I thank you for that too. I'm sorry I didn't remember it when I was speaking.
Oh, well, I don't remember any of these, and so it's so wonderful to hear it. Thank you.
I think Judy Peterson was trying to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think most of the people from the Connecticut storytelling community have heard this story, but since Peg is not remembering things, you have to know this. I have to tell you this one. I was already helping you with the Rowayton celebration. You had come to me one day and you said, you are going to be my assistant at the Rowayton celebration. And everybody knows no one says no to Peg O'Sullivan. So I was already working with you on that. And I retired from teaching. And instead of saying congratulations, Judy, or anything like that, that's appropriate for retirement, you said to me, Peg, now you have time. She said, you are going to take over for me as the director of the festival, the Connecticut Storytelling Festival. And then you went on to say, I will work with you the first year, and then you're on your own.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could say to you in response, Peg, since you don't say no to Peg O'Sullivan, was, I'm not doing it for 24 years. I'll only do it for 5 years. That's how I got to be the festival director, and it was great fun, although a heck of a lot of work. And I don't know how you did it for 24 years and just had one spectacular festival after another. So you are a marvel and a saint.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just for the new folks who are here, who I see Holly Adams, Noel McCary, JC, Barbara Apprentice, Laura Stengel, Ken Corsby, Carol Birch, Rita Arbach. I think we've announced the rest. We are just, if you could mute yourself when you're not speaking and we're just conversing, and when you're ready to speak, just go ahead.
Okay, can I just start? This is Barbara Apprentice from Natick, Massachusetts. Remembering when I decided to try to do a celebration on Queens Public Television. So I contacted, I'd already met Peg O'Sullivan and had been helping her behind the scenes back in the day when we made posters for the National Storytelling Network for Celebration. I'd drive from Flushing to Connecticut. She'd put me up for the night and we'd be making posters, and then we'd schlep them to NSN and schlep them back. And then when I told her I wanted to do a TV on, she said, okay, good idea. And not only did she support me, she came the day we were filming with Motoko Eshu, Ken Corsby, Patricia Shee, and a young 13-year-old boy from my community. And she got all the food for the crew, the staff. You know, Peg, she's always ready to feed us. So thank you for the wonderful memories. And I have a poster here of all these great celebrations I did with Peg, but this is the last little thing, and then then you get the hook on me. Quick. It was a celebration we held in the Jewish synagogue in Flushing, and Peg came down with Paul Pinkerton. They were in the audience in the synagogue, and at the end, I presented Peg with a bouquet of red roses. So she came, invited her up to the stage with the other multicultural storytellers, and she proceeded to tell us that morning she received a phone call from a storyteller from the other side of the world who told her he was on an airplane, and as he was crossing the equator, he got up and he told a story on the plane. So that's the story. Nobody knows that. I don't know if Peg remembers that, but I sure do. Brought the house down. Thank you, Peg O'Sullivan. Love you, love you, love you. Okay, the hook. Take Barbara off the hook. Okay.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. I think next would be Ann Shapiro.
This is wonderful. This is really
For her,
wonderful.
yeah.
Wow.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
Hi,
Ann.
Peg.
Ann,
Yeah.
Ann, before you speak, Richard and Christina, can we mute your computer, please? Because we're getting feedback from you guys.
Okay, Richard, how do I do that?
How do you do what?
Mute the computer. He's asking us to mute the computer.
I'm sorry, what was
He's
it?
asking us to mute the computer. We're getting feedback.
I can do it for you. I can do it.
Thank you, Brian.
There we go. Okay.
Go ahead, Ann.
Okay. Well, I see a theme here, Peg, and the theme is that you have changed people's lives and that nobody can ever say no to you. And I have the same theme in what I have to say, because in 1999, you asked me if I would help you run the Connecticut Storytelling Festival. And I said no.
Really?
That did me no good because somehow I did it anyway. I kept saying no, but yet I did it. And here we are 20 years later, and I'm still there at the Connecticut Storytelling Center, thanks to you. That's a change of life for sure. It's become my life. The other thing is that Ro Hinman was going to join us, and I don't know why she's not here other than she may be having computer troubles. But when you retired from the festival, Ro and I made up a song for you, and we performed it at a big party we had for you when you were retiring, and I found it on YouTube. And I'm going to try to screen share it right now so that we can all see it again. I really hope this works. I've only done this once in a practice session. So right now I'm hitting share the screen. And there it is. I'm clicking on the thing. Share it. If you know the song of Barney Google, that is the tune we borrow.
Might want to turn your volume on your computer up a little.
Hey, go, raise your glass and give a toast. It's the Peggo. She's the one that we will roast. The the best for 15 years. Now we give her 3 years. It's the Peggo, our hostess with the most. Yeah, you already Who's the sweetest charmer that the center ever knew? Who's the one that no one can ever say no to? Oh, it isn't Rockland Inman, and it isn't Keith Hughes. She pulled us in, she gave a grin for the storytelling muse. Here comes your part. It's the Peggo, raise your glass and give a toast. It's the Peggo, that we will roast. Directed the best for 15 years. Now we get her behind each year. It's the Peggo, our hostess with the most. Who would travel miles to discover someone key? Who would craft a weekend with such variety? No, it isn't Mr. Terrio, and it isn't Joyce Marie. She worked all year with volunteers. She's okie dokie. It's the Peggo, raise your glass and give a toast. It's the Peggo, she's the one that we will roast. Directed the best for 15 years. Now we give her 3 mighty cheers. It's the Peggo, our hostess with the most. Who would send an email and copy everyone? Who would use FileMaker Pro until the work is done? No, it isn't Arnie Pritchard, and it isn't Carol Munn. She taught us all we had a ball. She's a phenomenon. It's the Peggo, she's the one that we will roast. Directed the best for 15 years. Now we give her 3 mighty cheers. It's the Peggo, our hostess with the most. Who would think of leaping up in distant Tennessee to help a harried waitress with a heavy tray of tea? No, it isn't Eshu Bumpus, and it isn't Thomas Lee. It's just the grand old helping hand she offers you and me. It's the Peggo, raise your glass and give a toast.
Take pictures. They're recording.
We will roast. Directed the best for 15 years. Now we give her 3 mighty cheers. It's the Peggo, our hostess with the most. Who could we see as president of our very own US? Who would make our Congress delight in saying yes? It isn't Ann Shapiro, and it isn't Brianna Dias. Who can it be? It isn't me. We know you'll never guess. Peggo, raise your glass and give a toast.
It's the Peggo.
She's the one that
It's the Peggo, hostess with the most.
There you are.
Mhm.
Yay.
There
Hi,
you go.
Peg. Hello, Ann.
Nice.
Hi.
Hi, Ann. Hi, Peg.
Hey there.
How are you?
Fine. How are
Good.
you?
Good, thanks. Good. It's nice to be here with you.
Oh, it's wonderful to be with you all.
So could you give me your name, sir, please?
Jim Hawkins.
Jim Hawkins.
Yes.
I've heard that. name
Yeah,
before.
yes, because you call me.
Yeah, I want to just, I am putting everybody onto a list and I'll send it to Laconia.
Jim
Hello?
Hawkins,
Yeah.
Jim, you want to say a couple words?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm delighted to be here to honor Peg. She's been just a wonderful spirit and a source of comfort for me down the years. Also, she encouraged me over the years in terms of my telling, and has taken every opportunity to as I said, encourage me, and we've become very good friends. We talk pretty regularly on the phone. So said I'm delighted to be here and to be part of giving tribute to Peg for what she's given to all of us and to the storytelling community.
Oh.
Thank you, Brother Jim.
You're welcome.
There is a friend of Peg's, her name is Holly Adams. She's with us. Holly was a neighbor of Peg's in Norwalk, Connecticut, and is now, I think, far from Peg, but a resident of Florida along with Peg. So we're going to allow Holly to say a couple words if she would like.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. In fact, Saturday mornings, Peg and another friend from Rowayton and I do Zoom regularly. So we even though Peg and I are on opposite states of this state that I think is turning blue, we stay in touch. Yes. Peg and I were, we're neighbors in Rowayton, and we also were members of the same church. And especially at a time when I was beginning seminary, although Yale does not think of itself as seminary, but anyway. And so I remember we first met whenever I would get up and do a reading, read scripture, Peg would come up to talk with me after the service and comment on my diction, my inflection. And usually I would get good reviews, but I remember thinking, this woman is my audience and I better just sharpen up. So that was the first good deed she did for me as a loving friend. I think we really got to know each other, however, when her beloved Stephen died. And I was the pastoral lay minister at our church at that time. And so I remember she came into church that first Sunday morning after Stephen died. And I saw her and we put our arms around each other and we both wept. That not so, Pego?
Oh, I had forgotten that.
I never forgot that. And what is true to Peg is that my own husband died 3 weeks ago yesterday. And even from the other side of Florida, she has called me and sent me cards that are the best we can do to love each other and to hug each other in a sorrow and a mourning that we both understand and know deep in our souls.
Yeah.
But in between those two bookends lies storytelling. And I learned about storytelling from Peg. I was fascinated about the art and the profession of storytelling, which had been new to me. And she began introducing me to many of her friends, and she'd take me to some of those, I forget what you call them, but the tryouts, you know, when somebody's trying out a new story. So I'd get to go and hear these great tellers and great stories. And as I was going through Yale to get my Master's of Divinity, she was the best coach of homiletics, you know, preaching, because what I realized is a good sermon must be a good story, and a good story can be a great sermon. And so she made me a better preacher, I am quite sure.
Wow.
And as another example, though, of how, like many of you, I was never able to say no. On the occasion of the famous, memorable roasting in New London, I forget how many years ago it was, but the one that, you know, we were just talking about and hearing the wonderful "It's Peg Go" song. I walked in the door, having driven a car full of other neighbors from Rowayton to cheer on our beloved Pego. I walked in the door and Lot greeted me and said, are you all set? And I said, set for what? And he said, well, you are the mystery storyteller for today. And I said, oh, really? And well, I guess I've got about 20 minutes to think about something then. That's plenty. So it was that when he called me up, or called up the mystery teller, I got up not knowing what I was going to tell. But I looked at that face, that blonde, the blonde hair in the face, and I remembered a true story that happened when I visited Peg about the beige man. And if you were there, maybe you remember it. And so Peg has not only told me how to grieve the loss of a beloved husband, and she has not only taught me how to never try to say no, but just to go with it. She has also taught me how to love deeply and to find the story in that love. And so for you, Peg, you know I love you, and I'm so happy to see all these other loving friends and faces and fellow tellers wherever they are located right now, but I'm glad to be among them. So I love you.
Holly, thank you very much. I remember you coming up and surprising you with that. I also want to take this time to say that John Livingston is the pastor of the United Church of Rowayton, and he can't be here today because he actually suffered a stroke this past week.
Wow.
He wanted Peg and everyone to know that he sends her best wishes. He also asked everyone blessings for his recovery. I'm also going to ask Maud Carpenter to, she wanted to speak. And so Maud, take it away.
While Maud is unmuting herself, I'll mention we have a few new folks: Jane, Katie H, Ona Wumi, I hope I didn't destroy that name, and Mary Marcia Hupp, Holly Adams. I'm not sure where I am there.
And Brian, maybe ask people to mute themselves when they come in.
Thank you. Yes, it works much better with the audio if everyone is muted if you're not speaking. I'm lowering Maud's hand, but I don't know if she's coming on, Laconia.
I'm trying.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I really felt honored that I was invited to take part in this. I have so many fond memories of Peg it was Peg who really took Christine Rothy and me into the circle of active participants many, many years ago. I haven't been active the last few years because of family situations and my advanced age, but I just remember Peg's smile so much, and the fact that you could not say no to her. Chris and I ended up doing all kinds of different things, little things here and there. Whatever came into Peg's mind, we did. But my one most important job, Peg may remember this, was at our planning committee meetings when I would say, Madam Chairman, I think it's time to move on. Thank you, Peg, for all the wonderful things that you did for us.
Thank you, Maud. Anybody else want to jump in?
Laconia Katie is asked to speak.
Go, Katie.
Hi, all. Some faces I haven't seen for a while, so it's nice to see you all. Peg and I go way back. I think probably to like 1988. And speaking of getting roped into things, I became co-editor with her for the Connecticut Storytelling Center newsletter for years, because who can say no to Peg? Peg has been a mentor, a model, and an incredibly generous person. I have had the pleasure of moving to East Hampton, Massachusetts, which is right next door to where Peg was living. And so, you know, we continued our relationship over the last 3 years here in Massachusetts. And Peg was so generous to me when she let me stay in her apartment while my house was getting remodeled. And she was in Florida at the time. And that's just an example of who Peg is. She is one of the most generous, giving people I have ever met. Thank you, Peg, for being you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
So Laconia, why don't I jump in?
Jump in, Lauren.
Okay, I'm jumping in because like Katie, I think 1988 was probably the year that I also met Pego. And I was,
Lauren, I think is her name.
I was hired at West School in New Canaan, Connecticut to be a library media specialist. And Peg, can you see me, Peg? Woohoo!
Yes.
Okay.
We're just trying to get your name.
Oh,
Make
okay.
sure Peggy knows
And
your name.
Pego was the language arts resource teacher at West School. And for all of us in the storytelling kingdom, those, of course, were the glorious years when language arts was deemed the best and only way to advance the curriculum in the schools. It was before STEM became a more popular term. And Peg was a disciple of Dorothy Heathcote, who was a British dramatist who believed that children learn through imaginative play. So Peg was responsible for developing an entire school curriculum based on creative drama, in which the teacher played a role in a scenario that allowed the children to problem solve. So for Peg and me and the many, many years that we worked together, we of course turned this into our storytelling kingdom and our creative drama kingdom. And it was wild. We would have a classroom full of children with scarves who were pirates, who were planting corn, who were getting on boats. And every so often there would be a child who was not particularly engaged in what Peg and I, who came down to assist her and then eventually took over from her doing. The child would be either acting out or be quite sullen, standing in the corner. And Peg, with her big glasses and her big eyes, would stop everything with her drum. And she would look at that child leaning in and she'd say, "Honey, is this the place for you today?" And the child would be so startled that they didn't know what to say, but it brought that child right back into whatever it was that we had created and imagined for us and the children in the room. So today, with my 8 grandchildren, whenever I'm in charge and things are going badly, I lean in and I say, "Honey, is this the place for you today?" And they look at me and they say, "Grandma, of course it is. This is my house." So it doesn't work with the children, but it certainly works for me to say that and think of Peg every time I can. So that was Peg's and my creative drama life together. We also did a lot of tandem storytelling together all over the country.
Yes.
And it turned out that the most common I should say, reaction to Peg's and my performances were that people would come up to us and say, "You know, your mistakes are funnier than your story."
That's right.
So we had to just start taking that as a compliment, because where could we go with that, right? And the last thing I want to share is Peg and the first celebration that ever happened. And I think that too was in 1988 or 89. And J.G. Paw Pinkerton had persuaded Peg and me to produce this event. We chose a very modern Presbyterian church in New Canaan, Connecticut, with 400 chairs. And we were to hopefully fill the house, as Peg likes to say, which was completely daunting since we had little idea that anybody would even know of or want to attend this event. So on the day of, unaware of what kind of audience we might have, Peg and I decided to turn all the chairs so that they would not be facing the altar, because we thought it would feel warmer if they all turned and faced the beautiful glass wall on the side of the building. So she and I and the volunteers did this, and it got to be 7:45, and it got to be 7:50, and the group started to come in, and slowly, at about 8:10, we looked out over the church and 400 people had filled every single chair. Peg got up in front of the mic to say hello, and she said, "Well, J.G. Paw Pinkerton said you'd come, and you did." And that was the first celebration that ever was. And it certainly was a very, very memorable one for all of us. So Pego, you just are one big memory after the next every day. There isn't something in my life that doesn't ring a bell to say, "Oh my gosh, that reminds me of Pego." So I love you to pieces, and I'll drive over to see you at some point this winter. Lots of love.
Lorna?
Yes, yes.
From that picture of you two.
Hold it. Before you go, Lorna, would you talk about yours, Peg's, and Kate McClellan's relationship?
Oh, Lord. As Peg would say, oh, Lord. So Kate and I had secret phone calls. These secret phone calls were to strategize on how to handle Peg. And the key to learning how to handle her was, like everybody else is commenting on today, how to say no. And we would get on the phone, especially before festival in February, and Kate would say, "Has she called you yet?" And we would giggle and giggle and giggle, waiting to hear what Pego was going to ask us to do for festival. The other thing that was a long, long journey and story, and so wonderful, were our annual trips to festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee. We stayed in a big old bed and breakfast, and the three of us were in one room.
Yes.
And Peg and Kate and I each took turns in one of the beds each of which was more uncomfortable than the other. And do you know that the entire, what was it, Peg, 25 years that we did this, Kate McClellan always got the best bed.
Yes.
And she would always argue, well, she said, I'm an only child and I deserve the best bed. So our friendship was full of laughter, full of jokes. We worked inside each other's heads and hearts. And it really was, I think, the most wonderful, or one of the most wonderful things about certainly my storytelling career in Connecticut and everywhere else. So I know she would be here today if she could be.
Yes. Yes.
And she's here in spirit.
That's
Bless her memory. I think,
Look on that next.
who is this? Jane?
Yeah.
Jane, Jim Harriman wanted to go, and then you go after Jane.
Peg, this is going to be very short. I just absolutely found you delightful because every time I would see you, you would act as if you were my best friend and vice versa. And it didn't take me long to realize that you treated everybody the same way. So I hope I speak for everybody here by saying thank you for being my best friend. I love you, Peg. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is Jane. Hi, Peg.
Hey there, hey there, hey there.
So in the 1990s, I taught at Sacred Heart University, and my next door neighbor was Dr. Steve Rubin, who was had been assistant superintendent in New Canaan. And he would rave about Peg and her work. And I think, you know, for assistant superintendents to notice somebody doing something well is pretty cool. So the other piece is I also studied with Dorothy Hefkett at Northwestern, but it does make me think about Barbara Reed, who never studied with Dorothy Hefkett, but was doing all those things in the Guilford public schools in the 70s and the 80s. The other piece, the other story of Peg is I taught at Manhattanville College for a while, and Laconia and I co-taught a storytelling class. And when our students would perform, you know, Peg would come and just so kind to the students and encouraging, you know, to all of us. So much love, Peg, and good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. This is going way, I don't even know how to describe it. Peg talked to us last week and we all came up with this idea. The response has been way more moving than any of us anticipated. Jim, Jane, and I think right now, Joy and Sarah would like to say a couple of words.
Wow.
Well, maybe more than a couple. Hey, Peg.
Hey, hey.
So, Peg, you and I went back, somebody was referencing Barbara Reed, and Barbara Reed started the very first storytelling festival. I think it was in 1981. And there was another woman, a friend of Barbara's, who was very supportive of storytelling, named Nancy Firth. And Barbara was doing more and more. And Nancy said, Barbara, if you get hit by a bus, there won't be any more storytelling organization. We need to make a board. So we made a board, and Lorna was on that first board, and Peg was on that first board, along with J.G. Pinkerton and Jane Bredesen, who's here. And we met in the New Haven Arts Building, and we were always concerned because even with the door closed, we would get so excited, and we all had storyteller trained voices, or at least some of us did, that afterwards we would apologize. And the arts people would say, oh no, we really enjoyed hearing you laugh. And Peg always brought some kind of delicious bread for all of us. She took care of us from the moment that started. And we, that first board went on because we weren't a nonprofit official organization and there were no term limits. So both of my children, both my son, Ben, who's now 27, and Becca, who's 24, attended many board meetings, were nursed during board meeting discussions and lay on blankets staring up at the ceiling and tottering around. And Peg was always so sweet with my tiny little children who were sort of members of the board.
Right.
We wanted to sing the song that that I wrote for that same occasion. So Joey's going to help me out. And even though you're muted, you're welcome to join in. It's to the tune of The Fox Went Out. And here we go. We're here today to sing songs of praise, but to do it right would take days and days. For the one we love and wish to praise is that awe-inspiring Peg-O, Peg-O, Peg-O. For the one we wish to love and wish to praise is that awe-inspiring Peg-O. She leads a meeting with grace and poise. The storytellers make lots of noise. From this she ably builds great joys. That festival planning Peg-O, Peg-O, Peg-O. From this she ably builds great joys. That festival planning Peg-O. Those celebrations across the land, however could such a thing be planned? It's due to the skillful and practiced hand of that wonder we call Peg-O, Peg-O, Peg-O. It's due to the skillful and practiced hand of the wonder that we call Peg-O. I guess it's time for this song to end, so I yield to all those other friends. Just more time, I'd like to send a thank you to our Peg-O, Peg-O, Peg-O. Just one more time, we'd like to send a thank you to our Peg-O.
Yay!
Love you, Peg.
Love you. Love you. Oh.
Hello, Peg.
Hello.
It's Ellie Toy. I know you can't find me in all those little blocks, but I'm here waving at you.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, nice to see you. You look fine.
I do.
You do. Yes, you do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Peg-O, I moved down to North Carolina.
Oh.
I did. And I've been here for 3 years and I miss the Storytelling Center and you and all my friends in Connecticut.
Ellie, is there anything else you want to say to Peg?
No, I think I think that's probably other people want to say things. So it's nice to see you all. I'll wave to everybody. See who else is here. I see hands waving.
It's
Oh,
good.
yes, lots of people.
I have Jen, Jane Bredesen, Ken, Noel, Mary are on a Woomy. Do you all want to say anything? Then I'll
can I go, Laconia? It's Noel.
Please go, Noel.
Okay, I just want to share. I'm in the house that my mom and dad left to us, Bert and Noel McCary, storytellers of Sanibel. And Peg was such a dear friend to both of them. And when my mom was ill in the hospital, Peg came to Danbury to spend time with her. And I was so blessed by that we were able to start a relationship of friendship. And was able to spend time with Peg in Northampton, and we're in Sanibel now, so we're going to come visit you soon, Peg. We're just going to come drive across and take you to lunch if you can do that. And I just want to share, you've been more than a friend, you've been a mother to me. You've really had that kind of caring and love that a mother has towards a son for me. So I am grateful for your love, and I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Lot, I would like to speak. It's Jane Bredesen.
Hi, Jane. Go for it.
Okay. Hi, Peg. Hey, good to see you. It was good to talk to you the other day, too. I was lucky enough to be the hostess for Peg and Lorna and Kate at festival time. They would come and stay at my house, and we would have the best time after festival, recapping what had gone on all during the day or the weekend. It was a wonderful time, and Peg was certainly very much a part of it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the stories and the good times that we had together. It was memories that you have all your life. Thank you, Peg.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
I would like to speak. I would like to speak. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Go on, Marie. Go.
Oh, okay. I love you, Peg.
I love you too.
Eshu and Motoko made it possible for me to meet you personally. And everything anybody has said here, I feel that, not even having known you for a very long time. And so I think the best way for me to say it to you is this: I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck, a hug around the neck, and a barrel and a heap, a barrel and a heap, and a talking in my sleep about you, all about you. Yes, I love you, a bushel and a peck. You bet your pretty neck I do. Ooh, unmute everybody. Woo!
Oh, lovely.
Anawumi, that was just beautiful. Thank you. And Anawumi, you brought a little jazz to us, so thank you for that too.
By the way, good to see you.
I think Carol Birch is on, and I'm going to ask her to say a few words if she would like.
Duh. All right, there we go. I said, hello, sweetheart.
Hey there. Hey.
It's good to see you. It's so clear that everybody has, that we not only share a love for you, we share so much the same experience. And well, you know me. So I found a poem by Marge Percy called The Visible and the In, and I've adapted it for you. It begins, some people move through your life like the perfume of peonies, all heavy and sensual and lingering. And some people move through your life like the sweet, musky scent of cosmos, so delicate that if you sniff twice, it's gone. Some people occupy your life like moving men who cart off couches, pianos, and break dishes. And some people touch you so lightly, you're not sure that it happened. Others leave you flat with footprints on your chest. But because of you, Peg, my life does not feel like I'm living in the waiting room at a bus station where hundreds pass through all unnoticed. What everyone has said is you've noticed us, me, and all these people and so many others who can't be here. And it's your acceptance of our foibles and your generous heart and your smile that leaves us feeling clean and new when we've been with you. I would tell you, Peg, you have opened doors in my heart that needed opening. And your gentle touch just did that, just greased the hinges. So you're just one in a million. And you know, when I was, I don't know, 60, 50, I don't know, a bunch of you did a little booklet for me. And I thought people would like to hear what you put in my booklet because it's so you. Happiness comes through doors you didn't even know you left open. That's what I mean about the doors you've opened in my heart. And some mistakes are too much fun to make only once. And the last one is a truly happy person is one who can enjoy the scenery on a detour. And isn't that you? You just do enjoy the scenery even when on a detour. So bless you, dear. Bless you, bless you. It's so nice to be here with you.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
Carol, thank you very, very much for that. That was just beautiful. Before I ask Peg and Jeanette and Brian to say something, we have Antonio Hosha, and he wants to say a few words. Antonio?
And Marcia.
Hi, Peg.
I haven't forgotten you, Marcia.
Thanks.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey there. Hey there.
It's so wonderful to see you and be here with you.
Oh.
I feel very honored and to have met you. You've been a wonderful, you've hosted me, you've been a wonderful friend. It has always been a pleasure to see you when I'm telling. You've hired me. I've eaten your delicious food and felt your warm hugs. And one of the great memories I have is coming home on my birthday and having you singing happy birthday left on my machine. You know, you'd call and sing me happy birthday. And I'd love to address you, the spirit that animates this beautiful entity we know as PEG. You are one of a kind. You are love. You are kindness. You've touched all of us here. We are all here with you today. And because you've touched us in very unique ways. And, you know, I've been over the past handful of years been doing a lot of reading and a lot of investigating about what the mind is and who we are. And I've come to understand the mind as a tool. And I must say that you, whom we know as PEG, is a great spirit who has used your mind to reach us in ways we've rarely been reached. And I just want you to know we love you very much, that I love you very much. And what a blessing. What a blessing to have you in my life and all the memories.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here, honey.
I love you very much.
I love you too. I love you too.
That was so sweet.
Obrigado, Antonio.
De nada.
Peg, we have Dee Safri and Marcia Hupp who would like to say a couple of words. Dee first and then Marcia after that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll go Marcia first.
Okay, I'm here. When I sat down first to think about what memory I wanted to share, Peg, there was just such a long stream of them that I finally realized that the thing that I treasure most about Peg is just being with her. And that's something I miss very much right now, as I think maybe we all do, but I am mindful of how much being in her presence has done for me in all these years. Since I moved to Connecticut way back when I was just 41, and I was something of, well, still am, something of a shrinking violet. And in those early years in a new home, I really wanted to be involved in something, but I need a little nudge before I can do that. And we all know that Peg is an accomplished nudger. And once she nudges, you don't say no. And that's how I became involved in so many ways in Connecticut storytelling, in Telebration, which I loved, especially telling stories in libraries and schools and other venues around the state, and being involved in the Connecticut Festival and sitting on the festival committee, making signs for the festival in those days when we had things going on all over the campus, and scheduling greeters and serving on the festival committee and the board for a while. And then there was the National Festival, which I had attended off and on for some time, beginning in the early 80s, which is when I first became aware of Carol Birch and one of her big fans. Every year, well, I didn't go every year after that, but it was after I met Peg and got involved with her that I started going every single year. And that and all those things that Peg involved me in made a great impact on my life. I'm sure my life in Connecticut would have been very different without her. And the result of that I most treasure is just knowing all of you and befriending so many of you, and especially at the festival, getting to know Bill and Joanne and the Altons and Liz Mortlock, who I don't know, I thought would be here, and getting to know Eshu and Motoko through visiting Peg and driving her around. and so many of you who've just become people in my heart. And all of that is due to Peg. And I miss her so. And we've talked many times about my driving down and visiting her in Florida. And if this pandemic ever eases up enough, I am going to do that because I love you, Peg. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. We have Barbara Craigie on. Barbara was part of the Storytelling Anon group with Peg in Darien and Greenwich. She now resides in Bellingham, Washington. Barbara, are you there?
Great. Can you hear me? I'm here.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. It probably doesn't matter if you can see me or not.
Oh.
I'm here. Anyway, hi, Peg.
Hey there.
Hi,
Hey
Peg.
there. Hey there.
So, I'm Peg. I am remembering all the adventures we had together in places as far flung as Philadelphia and well, the places that we went to various festivals and got into trouble, especially Jonesboro. We have had a good time. And Denver, do you remember Denver? But what I'm remembering mostly is our walks in the morning around Rowayton. Now, you were the one who got me started walking, and I am still walking in the mornings, and I think about you every time I go out the door. Now, I am walking with other friends, but I don't have your dog with me. Do you remember walking with your dog?
Timber.
Do you remember Timber?
Timber.
Timber. We would walk with Timber, and Timber had a mind of his own. And whenever Timber got entangled with another dog because the other dog didn't understand that Timber owned all the space, you would tell me that I acted as if I didn't know either of you. I was a totally independent person who just happened to be walking by, and I certainly wasn't going to acknowledge that you were part of my group. Well, you were so patient with Timber, I think often, and now I realize you dealt with Timber in the same way that you dealt with all of us. Patience galore until we came around to doing whatever it was you wanted us to do. Very gently, very gently. Peg, I have such wonderful memories of all those mornings in Rowayton. I want you to know I am still walking every morning. I don't have Timber, but I have a group of friends. We talk about everything in the world. I even sometimes practice my stories, which is something you let me do when we walk. I miss you, Peg. I love you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Brian, you are our host. Brian, you are our host today. I'm going to ask you and Jeanette to say a couple of words, but before you do, Marcia Costrin is on, and I see that Frank and Teresa are on. Marcia, if you would like to say something, and Frank and Teresa after her, feel free, okay?
Oh, I would love to say something. Is this a good time?
Perfect time.
Okay. Peg, I love you, and I love the fact that you're sitting outside with that beautiful view behind you. It is so gorgeous down in Florida where you are. So I was, yeah, say. I was thinking about a time where you and I went on a women's storytelling retreat with Teresa and Nadine, and how every morning we would get up before breakfast and go into the hot tub together. And it was so beautiful there. There were, oh, in Massachusetts, the trees and the landscape. And one day we went for a walk in between sessions, and we walked on this country road. And as we walked, we passed a fenced area, and there were cows back there. And we stood next to the fence, and you mooed at them, and they mooed back. And I just want to say how much you have meant to me in my life. What an encouraging person you've been in terms of storytelling, but you have always been so welcoming and so warm and so supportive and so lovely. And I just want to make sure that you hear that from me now.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Frank and Teresa, any thoughts?
Absolutely.
Peg, I have a picture. I hope everyone can see it. Let me put it a little lower.
I'll do it.
This is
Good.
you at one of those retreats. And we were doing a process where we were connecting with our younger selves. And I don't know if you can see in the picture this beautiful, sorry, let me find it again. Hold on. Here it is. Your beautiful photo of yourself with your hand on your throat. And it's just, can you see it? Can everyone see it? I hope.
Yes.
And then we had to do, the other part of the process was something about an inner part of ourselves, and we were making a collage, and you did this amazing chimpanzee. So it was both this beautiful, elegant woman and young woman with so much to share through her voice and her whole being, and also that playful chimpanzee. So don't ever lose either one of them. We just want to sing you a little song. I love you. I love your positivity and just the light that always shines out of you.
We miss you. It's great to see your face. Here's a song for you.
Thank you so much.
When the red, red robin goes bob, bob, bobbing along, along, there'll be no more sobbing when he starts singing his song. Sweet song, wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get up, get out of bed, cheer up, yeah, cheer up, the sun is red, love, laugh and be happy. What if I've been blue? Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I listen for us and us. I'm just getting it, doing what I did again, singing a song. When the red, red robin goes bob, 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 and when the red, red robin goes bob, 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 and when the red, red robin goes bob, 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 and love. Miss you, love you.
Oh, miss you, love you.
Thank you, Frank and Teresa. I noticed that Jennifer Monroe has joined us.
Laconia, I just want to remind people to mute.
Thanks, Sarah. Jennifer Monroe, would you like to say anything? If not, that's okay.
Sure. Hi, Peg. Lovely to see you. Peg and I are kettle friends. I almost burned down Peg's apartment one time because I left the gas underneath the tea kettle. So I sent her an electric kettle. And so the lovely thing is, every time she makes a cup of tea, she thinks of me. And every time I put my kettle on, I think of dear, lovely Peg and the fact that I did not burn her house down. So it's a great memory to keep. And by the way, I'm trying out my green screen, Peg. That's where I went to school as a little girl. Right? Built in 1844. That's it.
Thank you, Jen. And your school looks beautiful. Brian, you're Peg's pastor, and I was going to ask for you to say a couple of words. You have gotten to know Peg the last couple of years. I know I met you a couple of years ago for Celebration. You and your wife and church family were very, very welcoming and fantastic. You mind sharing some remembrances?
I would love to. I'm sitting at the docks, Peg down on the Riverwalk. Jude and I are in process of heading to another event, but we just are both feel so blessed to have met Peg in these in our time here. We've been here over 7 years now, and Peg, though only in the last year been here full time, we have had her for most of season for most of the years, and she never ceases to surprise us and fill us with joy, and like you all, I couldn't say no when she said, "Don't you think we should have a celebration at the church?" And so and so we had a wonderful one, and like most of the stories I've heard today, we just hoped to break even, and we ended up setting up chairs outside the sanctuary because so many people came. So it was a marvelous event. Had the joy of being with her. We had a brief service before Stephen went out to sea, and it was an honor to be a part of that and to just get to know him a little bit through her eyes. As pastors, sometimes we regret the people we don't get to meet, and he is certainly one of them. But Jude and I both count it as an honor and a great joy that Peg is in our life. And we don't live very far from her, so we show up every now and then, and we do things together. And she is so generous with offering her lovely home on the river. So love you, Peg, so much.
Thank you, Brian. Jeanette, many of us as storytellers who are people who've been impacted by Peg's life, we thank you so much for being Peg's caregiver. I was wondering if you would mind saying a couple of words. Jeanette, are you there?
Okay, I'm here. All right, so it's my honor. I'm Peggy's neighbor also. I live right next door to Peggy, so I've known Peggy for about 11 years now. And she's always been a wonderful neighbor and giving, and she's just beloved here in our neighborhood. And I did not know her before Stephen passed, but I've heard a lot of stories about Stephen. Peggy's a joy to have in the neighborhood. She's always giving to all of her friends and neighbors and having people over for meals. She used to. and befriending everyone in the neighborhood. And I too was asked to join in the church in putting on a storyteller that was, her name was Geraldine Buckley. And she told in Brian's church and then Celebration and all of that. So I am also a subject of Can't Say No, but it's an honor and a joy to help her through this phase of her life. So she's a dear, dear, sweet friend. Probably my best friend now.
Peg, thank you, Jeanette. Peg, you've had many people say a lot of things to you today. What would you like to say to everybody who is here right now?
I am well, I can't say overwhelmed. Well, yes, I am. I can say, I don't talk very well anymore. But it's just been unbelievable to have so many people come and say good things about me. Thank you so much. I love every one of you, and you have been in my life, and you are apparently you are still in my life. So thank you. I love you.
Peg, before you leave, I want to give anybody else a chance to say anything. Ken Corsby, would you like to say anything?
So I'm Ken's wife, Beth. I'm here with him. Ken had a stroke a couple years ago, so has aphasia. But I want to just comment. Ken immigrated to the United States in 1996 at the age of 65 and was embraced by the storytelling world in Connecticut. When he came home from the first storytelling festival in Connecticut, he said, "I can't believe how many volunteers are doing all of this work in Connecticut, like it's a real job." And I know that Peg was behind a lot of that. And so just want to say thank you to Peg, but also everybody on this call that embraces a stranger.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Everyone, before we leave, I'm going to ask Peg, I'm going to ask everybody to do something that's going to be very difficult for storytellers. And I'm going to start it off. Just to think of one word to define you. And I'm going to start it off and I'll call out people's names. Peg, the one word that I would define you is joy.
Thank you.
Sarah DeBeer, is there a word you can come up with?
Well, I was thinking joy also. Yeah.
That's totally okay, Joey. Lorna Stingle. Martha Bishop.
I would say caring. She cares about all of us.
Ann Shapiro.
Generous.
Judy Peterson.
Persistent.
Amen. Jane Bredesen.
I was going to say generous, but I'll say happiness.
Rita Auerbach.
2 words, guiding light.
Carol Birch.
I'd say accepting, profoundly accepting.
Ken Corsby.
Friendly.
Christina and Richard. Lorna Stingle. Christina.
I said dynamic and Richard said loving, but all of the above from the others.
Lorna, you were muted. We didn't hear you.
Yeah, put the space bar down and then talk.
Peg is forever.
Barbara Ella Prentice.
Community love.
Noel McCary.
Inspirational.
Mary Marcia Hupp.
I was going to say joy and then loving, but I will say enriching. Thank you.
Jennifer Monroe.
Enthusiastic. In buckets.
Teresa Whitaker and Frank.
Ferocious compassion.
Always there.
Marcia Costin.
Light and love.
Kim Hawkins.
2 words, generosity and kindness. I love you, Peg, and thank you for everything you've always done.
Anawumi Jean Moss.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Earth Angel. Earth Angel.
And the last person to come in, I'm going to ask for one word, is Barbara Craigie.
Embracing.
Everyone, we're not. Everyone,
Can I
we're
add just one.
Yep.
What about you?
Unforgettable. Absolutely unforgettable.
Peg, I don't think we need to go to 2 o'clock. I think people have said as much love as they can say to you and for you.
Yes.
Hey, Lon.
Yeah.
Laconia, Carol Mon just showed up.
Okay, Carol.
I show up just as you're closing down, Laconia.
You can still speak while you got a chance.
Hey, Peg.
Hey there. Hey, hey.
I just, I wasn't sure what memory to share, but I thought I wanted to come on at least and say hello and see how you're enjoying the weather, because it's getting cold up here. But so wow, you got a lot of people hanging out here. I will tell you, Peg, the one thing that comes back, and I'm sure other people have said this over and over and over again, and it's something that I needed to learn from you, and I haven't quite got it yet, and that's how to ask people to do things for you without them saying no. You get an awful lot of people to agree to do volunteer work, and it's a trick that I have not quite learned yet. Because sometimes people say no. So if you have any words on how I can make that happen.
You shouldn't ask her. It's stupid.
Carol, you should tell them that Pego asked you to ask them.
Maybe that would work, yes.
I don't think
Maybe
Peg
that would work.
recognizes the word no.
Yeah.
That's what that means. So
Everyone, we're going to close, but I'm going to leave. We're going to leave this open. People are welcome to talk to Peg.
So you can,
Marjorie and Linda Marquisio both.
Well, we're not closing up then. Marjorie, do you want to say something?
I just called to say I love you. That's all. If it wasn't for Peg O and Ann Shapiro, I would have never known about the Storytelling Center and how wonderful and beautiful a community it is. So thank you, because you were always so welcoming, and you're the best hugger I know.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, Miss Peg, it's your party.
Oh, okay. I'm just overcome by all the things you've said, and all the things, not only that you've said, but that those things came to you, and I'm so grateful you did the work. So grateful. And I am so grateful for the time that you took and brought to me. It's a gift. It's a gift. Thank you.
You're a gift.
You are a gift. Right.
Linda Marquisio, do you want to say anything?
Yes, please. Hi, Peg, Linda Marquisio. I haven't seen you much over the last several years, but I remember you and everybody said your hugs, but I remember your smile was always so welcoming. No matter how long it had been since I'd seen you, I always felt so welcome and at home to be with you. You have done so much to help the storytelling community keep on growing and going. And I just wish I admire how you are so giving and so accepting of everyone. I would like to model after that, but I find it much harder than it appears you do. You are just so naturally a loving person.
Well, and you are too. That's why you recognize me.
Thank you.
Laconia, can I say one more thing here? I just thank you and Anne and Brian and Carol for all you've done to get this thing together and get it organized. This was fantastic, and I am so pleased that I had a chance to see Peg again and talk with her. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just let everybody know, we're going to leave Peg on till 2 o'clock. But this part is going to close up. So I won't have any responsibilities to call people or not call people. Whatever we do from now on will just be purely conversational. Cheers to Peg. Cheers to all of us. And cheers to storytelling. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you, Laconia.
I love you. Bye.
I just called to say I love you. I just called to say how much I care. I just called to say I love you. And we mean it from the bottom of our hearts. We love you, we love you, we love you. You have no idea. We love you. Thank you, everyone.
She sung it so much better than I did, Peg.
Peg, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Thank you,
Peg,
Laconia.
you're welcome. Peg, what we're going to do is anybody who wants to come on, they can stay on. We can talk. I imagine if other people come on, they're going to want to say some things. But I'm going to be here with you till 2 o'clock. Thank you for loving us. And I'm going to go get a glass of wine, Peg.
Whoa.
That sounds good.
Hey,
You can too, Peg. I'll stay here while you get your glass of wine if you want.
Okay.
Close it out. Close it out. You can leave it. Sit here.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
Say
we're
something
gonna.
first.
Some of us are gonna stay and just take turns saying stuff. Other people are gonna head off because people were told that they could jump in until 2 o'clock. So it's
Right.
a rousing party that's just going and going.
Do share
And,
content.
every time we think we're gonna close down, more people jump on, so, because so many people love you, Peg.
Oh,
It's just a whole world full of people who adore you.
That's right. Where do you type in that? Sarah, this is Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Just stay up. I sense you are familiar with Zoom.
Yes.
I am out and about and have another event. How would you feel about becoming the host of this event to keep the recording going?
I'd love to. Will it just
Alrighty.
flip to me? The recording will,
I
I don't have
yes.
to actively do anything. It'll just continue recording.
The
Okay. I'm
only
gonna
thing
be-
the only thing you have to do is agree to it, I think.
Okay.
So
Yep.
all right. So I'm heading off to
Thank
you
you
and
so
then
much for all your work, Brian.
oh, you're very welcome. It was my honor.
Thank you, Brian.
thank
You're
you.
welcome, Jeanette.
Or Brian, you could pull a peg and not recognize the word no.
There you go.
Oh, you funny lady.
Hey, Brian, thank you very much for all your help, sir.
You're welcome, Laconia. I've turned the hosting over to Sarah, and she's very comfortable with that, and the recording will continue then.
She's the perfect person to do that, Brian.
Yes, I sense that. All right. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
okay,
Laconia,
Brian,
thank
Brian.
you so much. Yes.
Brian, what happened, it seems to me, is that maybe you were recording it onto your computer. Is that correct?
No, I'm recording it. We do
You're
this at
recording it
church.
to you're recording it to the cloud?
Yes, yes. And then it will come on my account. And
All right,
will
I see.
retrieve
It changed what it looks like, but it looks like it's going to the cloud now, so that's good.
Yes, okay.
All right, thanks, Brian. Sorry to complicate the conversation with.
We love you, Peg. Richard and I need to get going, but we love you.
Yes.
Love you.
So I wanted to ask the person named Marcia, who's not Marcia Hupp. I know you, but I can't remember your last name, and I'm keeping tally of who is who.
Oh, it's Kostrin, Kosstrin.
Great, thank you.
I wanted to mention too, I will have a recording, a document that has all the stuff in the chat. So I will print that up too. That's part of the recording of the document of the event, of the meeting there. Okay, thank you,
I've also
everybody.
been taking a ton of screenshots so we could see various people.
Excellent.
Thank you, Brian.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Well, bye. If you guys all tell stories that are as interesting as all of you look and the you sound, you must be fantastic.
We are.
I don't doubt it at all.
We are fantastic.
Well, we are fantastic because Peg helped to make us that way.
And we're very modest.
I found some words that Barbara Reed wrote about Peg. So I'd like to just read that paragraph. It was the year that Ro Hinman and Peg and I received the Barbara Reed Award. She gave it to all three of us at once. We were connected at the hip. And
No,
here's
you were, what did Barbara call you? The triumvirate?
Triumvirate, yes. So here's what she had to say about Peg. Peg has this way of saying, "Can I help you?" And she will. If someone complains to her about anything, she says, "How can we make it better?" It's very hard to refuse Peg if she asks you to volunteer for something because she herself is so willing to help, and she manages to persuade you that this is what you really want to do. You might not have known that you wanted to do it, but suddenly you find that of course you want to do it. The volunteers are so important. They have to feel special and valuable, and they have to have fun. Peg is able to convey the sense that each person is special and valuable, and at the same time, she puts a lot of fun into the festival. From Barbara.
And who wrote, oh, Barbara wrote?
Barbara Reed said that about you.
Uh,
Yeah.
Surely did miss the festival this year, but this is a welcome and interesting, not alternative, but gathering.
gathering.
Really appreciate it because
Yes, I do too.
I love being able to see Peg again, and you look beautiful, Peg.
I do.
Southern living has suited you well. Got a little tan, you're wearing your pink plaid.
How about that? How about that? And I decided I was going to really dress up, and I decided to do this. So I'll show you. Okay, can you see?
Beautiful.
Oh, that's
Beautiful. Now show everybody those nails.
Oh,
Raise them up a little higher, a little higher, a little higher.
There you go. Gorgeous.
Bring them gradually down.
bring them down.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. All right.
And your earrings are gorgeous also.
oh, thank you. And oh, let me show you this. Up, up,
Careful.
yeah, see, I'm old. Can you see that?
No, you have to take them off and wave them in front of the screen.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
Fabulous.
Those would have been hard to take off.
yes.
well, I went yesterday to get it done for you all.
Well, they did a great job. You look gorgeous.
Okay, so when you all can, oh, you can't come. These are hard days, aren't they?
Yeah, and we're also all over the country.
Yeah.
So this is the best way that we can come visit you.
And isn't this so great?
It really is great.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Barbara Elaprantis,
Yes.
when did you first meet Peg? And what were the circumstances?
The circumstances was I decided to do, I got a grant to do a celebration on Queens Public Television. And I contacted Peg and she thought it was a great idea. And it turns out to be the first televised celebration, which she publicized. So she decided when I told her when we were filming it, that she would come and spend the day with and be there for the shoot. And the truth is, it was, I made it, and Ken Corsby doesn't remember this maybe, but he helped me design the set because his experience is in theater as a theater person. So we brought some of the furniture from my house, and with the grant, I rented furniture and I brought in a wonderful group, and it looked like my living room. And we sat there, and of course, I trust the universe. Those of you know I don't rehearse, I just talk without no plan ahead. But anyway, and the director said we had 55 minutes. We didn't have a speed through, we didn't have a tryout, we just did it. The clock started and we ended right on time. Jim Hawkins was there, Motoko, Aishu, and a young boy. I had I was a 15-year-old boy who belonged to the temple that we were performing. It was just an amazing experience. But the fun thing is, Queens Public Television, that celebration got more airtime than anything because Public Television, for those of you who don't know, continually rerun things. And I used to go to I'd go to my butcher shop and one of the customers turned and said, "Oh, I was home and I had the flu and I turned on my TV and I saw you. You were with a group of people and I think you were telling stories." Oh yeah, that was me. It really is fun to, when you're reading, when you try to get your cold cuts and someone reminds you that they just, and that was a few years ago, wasn't it? But they rerun it. And somewhere is a box of, I've got all the master tapes of that. And one day I'll convert it and put it on the cloud. Wouldn't that be fun?
right? Jim Hawkins, are you still with us? Do you remember Ken Corsby? You remember that? Ken Corsby told a story about the mango. The mango is sweet. And he came, we had a bowl and a coffee table and he had mangoes and he got up and he told the story about mangoes. And Motoko told a wonderful folk tale and she never told it again. Every time I see Motoko, I said, you know, you've never told that story you told at our celebration. Tell it. Oh, she said, no, I don't tell that anymore. It's really wonderful memory. So that's how I go back with Peg. It was 1997.
Wow.
But as you all know, Peg, she's always cooking and nurturing. And I'm telling you, she brought food for the crew, the cast, the cameramen. We had the 3 camera. She was just a joy. We spent the entire day. And I will send an email of the pictures I have. You can't see them, but this is a collage of it. And there's this one right up there. You won't be able to see it. But she was right there next to me. And I guess I mentioned everybody there. Yeah, there's this wonderful singer, Patricia Shee, from a very well-known, and she was there too with her husband. And it was a while back, wasn't it? 1997. Yeah, that was my story.
I noticed
A while back. 1997 was just a few years ago.
I noticed that Liz Gruber and Ellen King are on. Liz and Ellen, Liz first, Ellen second. Would you like to say something to Pego?
Sure. I just love talking to Peg at every storytelling festival I went. And I remember talking to her one time about doing a story, triggering story. And I can hear her voice now. She says, "You're on my list." She was so cute. And Robin Moore, I don't know if he's on here, was talking to me one time about when he was at the festival. And Peg went up to him and said, "Now, Robin, you have 17 minutes. If you go to 17 and a half minutes, I'm going to break your knees."
She did.
Do you remember that, Peg? That's one of my favorite stories.
Liz, you just showed a whole different side of Peg from everything anybody else has shared so far.
Well, I mean, it was so amazing because Peg is always so kind and nurturing and sweet. And I'm going to break your knees.
No wonder it's taken Robin Moore so long to come back to the festival. He's selling this year, or 2021. Yeah.
Ellen King, you're on. Would you like to say anything?
Yes, I'm not going to unmute my video, but I am not a storyteller, but I have certainly heard about you all over the years. Sarah, I've met you. Ann Shapiro, of course, I think we've talked on the phone. I stayed with Peg in Northampton for a while. Laconia, we all love you. Anyway, thank you for pulling this together. And I wanted to check in. I wanted to say, Peg, you know, I love you dearly and just so thankful for your presence in my life. Always, always. So carry on, enjoy. I'm going back out fossil hunting. So anyway, just wanted to check in. Have fun. Love you, dear.
Have fun.
Sonia.
I wish I had been that eloquent because it's true of all of us, I think.
Peg, maybe I will tell a story. Is that good? If people want.
Wonderful. Do it.
All right.
Just before you do, Sarah, I have to get off, so I just want to say goodbye to everyone. It's been lovely seeing you all. Love you, Peg. Here's a great big hug.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Marcia.
So I first got started telling stories when I was a college undergraduate, and my home was in Albany, New York. That's where my parents lived. And there was a program from the local library that sent people out to housing projects and city parks where they thought kids weren't exposed to books. So they wanted it to be very book oriented. And one of my favorite writers when I was a child was Leo Leone. And so one of the stories that I decided to learn back then, we were looking back, it was like 1979, was a book called Tico and the Golden Wings. So that's what I want to share with you. One of my very, very first stories that I learned. There was once a bird named Tico. He used to come and sit on my shoulder and tell me all kinds of stories about himself. And one day he told me this story. He said, when I was born, I had no wings. I could sing like the other birds and I could hop like them, but I couldn't fly. Luckily, my friends would take care of me. They'd bring me food to eat. But still, I would wonder, why can't I fly like the other birds do? Why can't I too soar over the mountains and treetops? And I would dream that I had golden wings, strong enough to carry me over the mountains far away. One night I heard a strange sound. I turned and there behind me was a beautiful bird glimmering in the moonlight. I am the wishing bird, it said. Make a wish and it will come true. I closed my eyes and wished with all my might for golden wings. There was a flash of light. The wishing bird vanished. But there on my back were golden wings. At first, I flapped them cautiously. But then I flew higher than the tallest trees. I flew so high that people's gardens below me looked like postage stamps and the river like a pearly necklace. I flew all through the day. But when I flew down to the branch where my friends gathered for the night, they frowned at me and said, "You think you're better than we are, don't you? You and your golden wings. You wanted to be different." And off they flew without saying another word. I sat there by myself wondering, why were they gone? Why were they angry? Was it bad to be different? I could fly as high as an eagle, and mine were the most beautiful wings in all the world. But my friends had left me, and I was very lonely. One day, I flew down to a branch and I saw a man sitting outside of a hut and he was crying. "Why do you cry?" I asked. "Oh, little bird," he said, "my son is very sick and I'm too poor to buy the medicine to make him well. How can I help this man?" I thought, and then I knew I would give him one of my golden feathers. He could use that to buy medicine. "How can I ever thank you?" said the man. "You have saved my son's life. But look, your wing." I looked and I saw that where the golden feather had been, there was now a black feather, soft as silk. From that day, little by little, I gave my golden feathers away. I bought a compass for a fisherman who was lost at sea. I bought a spinning wheel for an old woman so she could make herself a shawl to stay warm in the wintertime. And when I had given my last golden feathers to a beautiful bride, my wings were as black as India ink. I flew to the tree where my friends gathered for the night. They smiled at me and said, "Now you are just like us." And we huddled together. But I was so happy and excited I couldn't sleep. I thought about all those people I had helped with my feathers. And I thought, my friends are wrong. We're not all the same. We're all different. Each of us has our own memories of what has happened to us. And each of us has our own invisible golden dreams. And Peg, the thing about you that I wanted to say is that sometimes I and other people aren't so aware of what our invisible golden dreams are. And what I've been hearing from every person who's spoken is how much you have the power to make us aware of our golden dreams and to teach us how to fly when we didn't think we knew how to. So I want to thank you for all you give to the community and all the wonderful memories that we have of you.
Beautiful story, Sarah, and a wonderful application. I know that Motoko has arrived. Motoko, would you like to say something to our Pego?
We just wanted to say hi. Hi, Peg.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Love
you.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see you.
You look great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Should we?
Hi, SU. Hi, Motoko.
Hello, hello. I just found a poem you wrote a long time ago. You want to read it?
Okay.
Let me make it. We will read, or Eshu will read a poem that we wrote long time ago. You wanna trade?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, here. Okay, hold on. Here we are. Okay.
How could you not know Peggy O? She's as sweet as honey with the same kind of flow.
How could you not know Peggy O when she's done so much to help storytelling grow?
We've all had things that we can celebrate, but thanks to her and J.G. Pinkerton, we can celebrate.
How could you not know Peggy O?
There's so many storytellers she's been so good to. She's like a mama and a sister and an auntie too.
And a real friend when the world is trying to make you blue.
How could you not know Peggy O?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you. That's incredible. And you look good.
You look good.
You always look good. Are you feeling better?
Things are good.
His shoulder is better.
Yep,
That's
healing.
what I mean. Yeah.
Yep,
Good,
it's
good.
doing a lot better.
Oh,
No more sling. Yeah.
Well, it's really nice to see you guys together.
Yeah, great to see you.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
At one point, we had about 28 people online, And we're gonna finish, we're gonna go through the hour for anybody who wants to come. So this is gonna be like old home week.
I think Maud Carpenter joined us, Laconia.
I think Maud's been with us the whole time.
Oh, okay. Hi, Maud. It's Margie.
Hi, Margie.
Do you want to chat? You did something before. Why
I'm
don't you?
gonna go eat. I'm gonna go eat. I just want to say hi.
Why don't you sit here and eat and I'll sit down?
No. I just want to say hi.
Barbara, did you have something you want to share? Did you have, Barb, did you have something you wanted to share with us?
Did you, you're talking to Barbara? Because I guess I just wanted to say, just a little anecdotally, when I saw Mojiko and Eshu, I don't know that many people know, but Mojiko, I'm Mojiko's Greek mother, and Peg O'Sullivan is her Irish mother, because like we're we're her mother, whether she wants to or not.
Oh, yes, I do want.
Good to see you both. Bye. Hello. Good to see you. Sight for sore eyes.
You guys look so good.
I was at one of the the Toastmasters contest. I won a couple levels. And so I had to give my story again. And afterwards, a person came up to me and said, you don't know how to tell stories. And I said, I don't. No, you let the story tell itself. You don't add anything with your hands or your voice. You don't emphasize anything. You just tell the story. That's the way that real storytellers do. And I said, there's someone I'd like to introduce you to. I'd like to introduce you to Peg O'Sullivan. Come to one of the storytelling festivals. The what? I said, the Connecticut Storytelling Festival. We hold it every year. And you tell her what you think about how a story is told. It is interesting because storytellers, even when they're just talking with you, they involve you, they pull you in. And it's nice to hear all the comments from all of you, because you just make it more interesting than just saying, oh yes, I like you very much, Peg. That's it. It doesn't always work, you know?
Yeah, the little box can't even contain us. We're like always going out of the box.
That's okay. I like that.
Peg, it's Judy Peterson. I was just thinking as Sarah was telling her story, the Rowayton Celebration this year is going to be virtual, and all the tellers were here today.
Really?
Yes. Sarah is telling, Sarah DeBeer, Marcia Costrom, Linda Marchesio, and Barbara Craigie.
Wonderful.
I'm telling.
So, but at the Rowayton Celebration.
Oh.
So, yeah. And then Mojiko and Eshu, I hope, are going to come next year.
Okay. That one's good.
Before you came on, Mojiko and Eshu, I talked about the celebration that we taped for Queens Public Television the first time we met. Because when I called Peg, I said, Peg, I'm trying to put together a panel, a group of storytellers, multicultural. She said, well, you've got to invite Mojiko and Eshu. And you both came to Queens, and Peg came and I showed this picture. You can't see it, but I'm going to send it in an email.
Yeah.
After we posed, and of course,
What is that saying
Peg
right
brought
there?
all the students, the cast and the crew. It was a wonderful first televised celebration, 1997.
Oh, I didn't get to open.
1997. So that was 23 years ago when we were young and cute.
I want to acknowledge that we've just been joined by some more friends of Peg. It says on your screen, Jim.
Yep, this is Ann.
Oh, Ann.
How are you doing?
And remind me what your last name is.
Johnson.
Thank you.
We're kind of having some technical difficulties. I guess you can hear me, but probably not see me.
No, we can, and we can hear you and see you.
Okay, I can only,
Wanna say something to Peg?
I just wanted to say hello to Peg and tell her that we are very happy to see that she's healthy and doing well.
And alive.
Yes. Well, Peg, you were my first commander-in-chief for the Storytelling Festival. And I have always admired the fact that no matter what happened, and you can hear my dog in the background. That's Luke. But anyway, he might come and crash in every now and then. He loves to Zoom crash. But I have always admired the way, Peg, that things could be totally falling apart and you just got through all of it, cool and calm and collected. I don't ever know how you did it, but I've always admired that about you, and also just the way that you listen to everyone. It was really wonderful having you as the first person that I worked with in charge. And I see that Judy's on, and Judy has been so much fun to work with too. I've really enjoyed helping out at the Storytelling Festival, and I am just awed at the talent that I've seen.
Well, that's wonderful.
So, but I just wanted to say hi because I knew everybody was coming in and out. And as you can hear, I really have to take the little monster, the spoiled brat, out pretty soon because he's having a fit in the background. He wants to go out and play. If I could get him over here, I don't know if you could see him or not. Luke, come here. Come here, come say hi. There we go. Okay.
Oh, look at him.
I don't know if you can see him or not.
Yes.
Oh, he's a cutie. Yeah.
He's a target dog.
What's that?
He's a target dog.
Yes.
Yes.
A smaller version of the target dog. Yes. But yeah, he's a rescue. We've had him almost a year now. And he owns the house at this stage of the game.
We've all been.
Peg, I'm listening to all of these people and how much they love you, and I'm just in awe of how you have created this caring, loving community around storytelling. And I always love it.
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Can I tell you what I found in the middle of this garden that's behind me? See right there, that blank spot?
Yeah.
They came out to feed the roses one day and there was a bear sitting there.
Oh.
And he was smelling the roses. And as I started to run and he motioned no, and he pointed to some of the roses that I hadn't fed yet. He pointed them out to me. And then he held, see the bush in the background over there, that it kind of got in my way when I was feeding the roses. And all of a sudden I saw this hairy arm come out and pull those branches back so I could water it. And then he ran past me and then I didn't see him anymore. And I came out a couple of days later and he and another bear, one thing he did do, he did pick a rose and held it up to me. And I said, yes, because he'd been very helpful. And so he took the rose with him and off went. And then a couple of days later, I'm sitting by our fish pond and another bear with him, and she was holding the rope, or she had it behind her ear, actually. They were smiling, and they were both wearing masks, so trying to keep safe. And then a few days later, I heard a commotion across the street, and I went over. There's kind of a woods behind the houses across the street, and the bear was up there waving at me, and he motioned, and I came up. He had a bow tie on, and she had a veil on, and they had a bunch of my flowers that he picked, and they were on her back, and they were heading off toward the church. So, you know, it was a good story. You never know what you might find in your own backyard.
Wow, wow, wow.
Just amazing. So.
What a story.
I told that to somebody. They said, did that really happen?
Well, it's interesting to know where bears are able to find stores with masks, because a human mask probably wouldn't fit a bear very well.
Well, I don't know. It fit this. They had the masks. Someplace they got them that just fit perfectly.
Probably
they were keeping up with the. Yeah.
Hey, Peg, I'm gonna run, but I wanted to let you know, it's Margie.
Yes.
I love you so much. Thank you for making me always feel welcome and special since my very first festival in 1998. And I've been going ever since. And you are just beloved. So I'm giving you a kiss. Stay safe and well, and hug yourself a lot, since these days we can't hug others. So this is
okay. Group hug. Ready? Hands out on your shoulders. Now squeeze.
Here we go. Love you much. I'm leaving. I love you guys. Take care. And Laconia and Ann, thanks again for doing this. It was great.
And thank you for coming.
Bye-bye now.
Margie's doing a workshop at the festival this year.
Virtually.
Virtually. It's a virtual festival. Margie's
We'll be
doing
in
a
touch.
workshop.
I gotta go.
I'm still trying to figure out how to do virtual facilities.
We'll find a way to use you, Ann, believe me, you're not off the hook.
And exploring how to do virtual hugs, because when I go like this, I feel like I'm actually only hugging myself.
Yes, yeah.
So then I kind of try this a little bit.
You feel like a zombie.
Try that.
And then I started like leaning way into the computer. But my kids said that was too scary. I should stop doing it.
I just like to feel everybody's hands on me. That's all. That's why I like to hug myself, because they're all from you. So that's nice. But I like, you know, out here too. That helps. Laconia, would you smile, please?
I'm just taking things in.
Thinking about,
Go for it, Barbara.
I was just thinking of sharing a little tiny wisdom tale that just came into my head. And I don't know why I feel, you know, like any story, it's just in there.
All right, let it out.
I'm thinking about, this is a long, long time ago in a marketplace somewhere in Asia. I have nowhere, you know, nobody knows. That was a long time ago and I wasn't there, and neither were you. So anyway, it was in the marketplace, and there was a very poor young man who would go down to the marketplace each day, find himself a little spot, put down a cloth and just sit, and depended on the kindness of the people to receive sustenance. People would give him something to eat from time to time, or a coin. And on this particular day, he was sitting there very quietly and nothing was happening. The marketplace was abuzz, and a very wealthy man walked into the marketplace and saw the young man, and he felt extremely benevolent that day. He went over and he said, "Young man, I see you here. You have nothing here. Take these 2 coins and go buy yourself something to eat." The young man thanked him. "Thank you, sir." He took the coins and started walking to the marketplace to buy something. The wealthy man hid behind to watch. And wasn't he surprised when he saw the young man go over to a booth and buy a loaf of bread. Then he went to another booth and bought a bouquet of flowers. He went back to where he had been sitting, sat down, took a bite of the bread, separated the flowers in the bouquet, and looked at each one, admired it. And as people were passing by, he was handing out the flowers. Well, the wealthy man was outraged. He came over and he said, what did you just do? I mean, you have nothing. I see you, I gave you 2 coins. Why did you only buy 1 loaf of bread? Why didn't you buy 2 loaves of bread? Instead, you bought those flowers. The young man smiled up at him and he said, sir, you misunderstand. You see, I bought the bread to give me nourishment so I can live. Buying these flowers, enjoying their beauty, and sharing them with others gives me a reason to live. The wealthy man smiled and understood. And as the Greeks would end the story, for all that, I wasn't there, nor were you. So believe it or not.
Barbara, that's a lovely story.
I have a few in the collection. It's just a wisdom tale from the Middle East. There's a little poem. Rumi has a little poem that has, so the idea, if you have 1 coin, buy a rose, or 2 coins, buy a penny, and a bread and a rose. And then the Chinese have a phrase that ties into it. It's somewhere in my laptop, the reason, but there's no specific source. I've never seen it written out. Just reminds me of Rumi and his philosophy. But I happen to love that story. And each year I was the featured teller at the New York Public Library main branch, the Christmas program, but I wasn't allowed to tell Christmas stories as such, but stories about the theme of the season of giving. And these are for the trustees. I was in the boardroom and the people would come every 20 minutes and I tell folk tales, personal stories, but I always snuck that in at the end. And some of my friends said, oh, you didn't. I said, I did. And people, the reaction in the people, just like it takes the, oh, yes. I love that story. And I just felt like sharing it.
Well, to me, listening to it, I feel like that's the epitome of who Peg is.
Exactly.
Because what I'm so moved by with that young man is he does 2 different things with those flowers. He admires each one for the beauty that it holds, and then he shares it with someone else.
I feel,
and Peg, I feel so deeply, and it's so much reinforced by today and hearing people speak their strong admiration of you, that's what you do. You both deeply appreciate each individual for who we are. And then you persuade us to go out and share ourselves with other people. You're a gift to the whole world.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Really? Wow.
I would endorse what Sarah said, 110%.
What was that?
I said I would endorse what Sarah said, 110%.
Me too. Yes, absolutely.
And did you want to share anything else with Peg?
Me? No, I truly think, as I said, one of the things that I really admire is that when an individual talks to you, Peg, you stop everything and listen.
Wow.
And there's not many people that do that.
Oh, you're fine, honey.
Thank you.
And you know, last year when we were in Jonesboro, Peg, I don't know if you probably don't remember this, but it so impressed me. Because you are such a people person and you realized that you were forgetting names. I sat next to you on the plane flying down to North Carolina. And you said to me, you took out your little notebook and you said, now who are we going to be having dinner with tonight? And we were having dinner with 15 people. And you wrote down every single name of the people we were going to have dinner with. And then you have, and who else are we going to meet this weekend? So, and you had them all written down. And I saw throughout the dinner, I was seated at the opposite end of the table. Every once in a while, you would pull out your little notebook, you would look at it, look at the person, nod your head, and then talk to that person. You knew who that was from the name you had. I thought that was such, you talk about wisdom, such a wise coping mechanism to just keep being you.
Brilliant.
And Ann Shapiro, I know that you're eating right now, but is there anything else you want to say to Peg?
I'm eating peanut butter crackers. It's hard to talk right now. I know SU would like to do a song.
Right.
I was gonna say, you can say.
So why don't we, SU, take it away.
Okay. Love you. I don't know if you can hear my guitar or not.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you.
No, I think he's still
I
there.
hear
It's just
babies
one
cry.
more.
I watch them grow. They'll learn much more I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Love you.
Thank you, SU. Pego, how did you like that song?
Oh, I decided that I said, okay, I want that in my memorial. And so I said, okay, we can't, nobody can go any place. So if he will
Just sing it on Zoom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, come and do it on Zoom.
On Zoom. Yeah, thanks for Zoom. Yes, let's hear it for Zoom.
Yeah, yes, and it is.
Connected. Yes.
Yes,
Together.
yes, it's brought us all together. Oh, and I never thought I'd have this experience again. So what a gift. And so wonderful to see you all. To
Wonderful to see you.
Hi, Eshu.
Hey.
It's Jeanette.
You're hiding. There you are. Hey.
I'm peeking around here.
So good to see you.
Okay, so for everybody that's here, this is the person that takes care.
Yes.
Thank you, Janet.
She comes the first thing in the day and takes me to swim. And then she helps me with my
computer
and figures out what all of those things coming and what should I throw it away?
Oh, God bless you.
God bless me, yeah. And so that's a gift. It's a gift.
And so then we go to the doctor and we go grocery shopping and we do all of the appointments.
Yeah. And she took me to get my.
All right.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
First singing.
Yeah. And Peg was even able to show us she has toenails that look really beautiful.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Oh, now
Don't do it.
she is extremely limber.
I'm amazed. I know. I couldn't have it. Peg, don't do it while you're standing up.
With her crane yoga.
You're gonna have to sit down and then put your foot up.
Yeah, Peg, it was better when you sat down. It was better when you sat down.
Trying to show us her pedicure.
There you go.
There we go. Yes, your legs are alluring.
Very nice.
Hey, I have a question.
The thing to do is to move the camera. Yeah.
I have a question, which occasionally, Peg, we've come on a Zoom visit with you, and I'm wondering what time of day is the best?
In the evening.
In the evening.
Evening, so you're there in the evenings as well?
Yes.
I'm sorry, then you're.
Jeanette.
What is her name?
My name is Jeanette.
Okay, because I'm making Jeanette, I'm making a list of everyone who has been joining us, and I wanted to put your name on the list.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I've been here all along. So, but I'm usually not with Peggy in the evenings.
I see.
So right now, Peggy, so her evenings, anyone that calls, that's wonderful. It helps her fill her evenings.
Okay. And Peg is still, what I've done, I'm sorry, but maybe this is useful for other people to hear. But what I've done in the past is I've sent an email link and then I've given Peg a phone call and talked to her about how to click on the link. And Peg, you're able to do that?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Excellent. That's lovely to know that. Thank you.
So as long as it's in the email, it says Zoom link, she can do it. I just want to remind everybody, when you get on the phone with Peggy or in Zoom, you know, just make sure you introduce yourself to her, because she recognizes your face, but the names escape her. So
right.
if you can tell her, this is Barb, this is Barbara, this is Modoka, because she knows your face, she just forgets the name, you know. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you so much. That's so helpful to all of us.
Yeah. It's sad, but I'm okay.
It's a new chapter.
Yes.
This video is being recorded, so I'm going to take it and put it on Peg's YouTube channel.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah, and if any of you folks, if you want to, you know, send a little personal message in video or anything, send it to me and I'll put it up on her YouTube so she can watch it anytime.
But we're not recording it.
Right. they're gonna send it.
Laconia, you are recording it? You're gonna send it to Esu?
Yeah, it's being recorded on the.
Esther's recording it. Yeah.
So I have a story about Eshu came to visit Peggy last February before we had all of this.
End of January. Yeah.
Oh, it was, yeah, in January. And he recorded Peggy telling the story. And that's on the YouTube video, on her YouTube channel. That was the last, do you remember, honey?
Eshu, can I access that?
I can send you a link.
No, could we watch it, those of us gathered here?
Right now?
Yeah.
Do you have the link to it, or is that easy to send?
Let me think about that for a minute.
You can send the email, and I can put it in the chat.
Peg, I have to be leaving because I really do have to get my little monster outside to play. It was wonderful seeing you. It was wonderful talking to everybody again and seeing people again.
Oh,
Marty, stay away from those bears. With this new little guy that we have, there is nothing that treads in this yard at all. At all. Doesn't matter what it is, he'll chase it. He's even, you know, I kind of look at this and go, you're chasing a bird, you know? It can fly away. But he still goes after it. Wonderful seeing all of you. Take care.
Thank you, Ann.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that during the 2 weeks when I first saw the bear and then when I saw him go off to get married, I had to deadhead my roses. I'd come out and all those spent buds were already neatly clipped off. So I didn't have to check my roses. I didn't have to take care of them. They were just in perfect shape. So then that day I noticed though that a whole bunch of them were missing the flowers. And that's when I heard them up on the hillside. And I guess that was her wedding bouquet. They earned it. That was all right because they did take care of the roses, but I haven't seen them since. I now have to go out there and deadhead them myself, but they never spoke a word. They just came and sat right there. You can see the empty spot.
Say leave meeting?
I'm remembering.
I can't put anything in there, so.
I'm remembering that Martha warned us from the start that she's a prize-winning tall tale teller.
Yes, she is.
Well, I had to let you know because you don't belong to Toastmasters. It's because of you guys that I got what I did. So, I mean, I use all of you as examples. I've told stories with you too, Sarah, and I know how I've learned. So I just wanted to know how successful you all had been.
I was very moved when Eshu was singing his song, that Barbara was signing along with it.
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you see that, Peg?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm sort of imposing myself in here, but I wonder, Onamuni, if you have a second song that you would be willing to sing and Barbara could sign it, is that possible?
Can you hear me? Okay, good. I wasn't sure. Oh, yes, yes. Let's see. I think I can do this one. If I can't, somebody that knows it, help me out. I don't have the words here with me, but I think they're in here. Let's just hope. Pego. Pego.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
Hey there.
It's me.
Yeah, good, good. I'm glad to see you.
I took a trip on a train and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a running stream, moon shining down on some little town, and with each stream, same old dream.
Would it help?
At every stop that we made.
At every stop that we made. Thank you, baby. And sing with me.
I thought about you.
I thought about you.
And as I pulled down the shade,
Yes, I really felt blue. Go SU.
I peeked through the crack.
And looked at the track.
The one going back.
The place that says sign out or leave meeting.
And Pego, what did we do? What did we do, SU?
We thought about you.
Wonderful.
That was so lovely. Thank you.
Thanks for asking, Sarah.
Hi, Peg.
Hi, Peg.
Well, hello there.
Hey,
Hello.
Maria.
Sorry?
Gary.
It's Gary and Karen.
Yes.
Gary and Karen.
We're delighted to see you. We wonder if you have a few words to share with Peg.
She's always been an inspiration.
For God's sake, it won't stop.
And can Jim and Ann mute their computer, please? And Gary and Karen, if you want to say anything to Peg, please go.
Yep, it's good to see you. Oh, you're reminding me of all the good times we've had at all the celebrations.
Yeah. All the celebrations, selling tickets, counting money.
I'm trying to remember you, so help me.
It's okay.
It's fine.
So tell Peggy a little bit about how you know her so she can remember.
Well, we met at Storytelling Anon, the meetings between Old Greenwich, when they used to be at the Perrott Library, and then in Darien.
Okay.
And you got me involved in selling tickets and being the one for the money for Telebration. So we'd end up back here at my house after a Telebration, and we'd be counting money, and
I would have to do all the accounting and then I'd give it all to you. Because I didn't want any part of that.
Wow.
And when Karen had told me that you, Peg, had talked her into doing these jobs, I said, what? Somebody was that good of a salesperson to get you to do this stuff?
Nobody says no to Peg. No one says no to Peg.
That's the theme of our gathering. I think we need to have, is Eshu still there? We need a nobody says no to Peg song.
That would be next. But Peg doesn't say no to anybody either. So
That actually would make a very nice flipping back and forth. She shouldn't be worrying about the YouTube thing. Mary Jo, you just joined us.
I did. I'm so happy to see you all. Hello, hello,
Mary
hello. Hello, Peg. Yes, hi. That's great.
So would you like to take a moment to share some thoughts with Peg?
Well, I'd love to. Peg, I am hearing another way of putting what I just heard is you create a world of yes. Yes. And that's a really beautiful thing. I'm grateful. And it's just a joy to know you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Oh, so where are you now?
I am in Lenox, Massachusetts, and just beyond my screen, I see gorgeous autumn leaves, yellow birch leaves, and a blue sky. It couldn't be more lovely.
Oh, and I miss that. This is my first time to not be in the north.
Yeah, yeah.
But the-
Misses you.
Yeah.
But yeah, soon we'll be asking you to send us some warm weather. You
Yes,
can taste what's around the corner right now. The edge on the wind. Yeah. Well, you have a lot of open doors for sure.
Well, thank you. Yes, I do. Yes,
yeah.
I do. And my memories of all my good friends is wonderful.
Yeah, that's a treasure.
Yes.
Peg,
I think.
Peg.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Laconia.
Peg, it occurs to me that what we're doing today is very similar to what you did when you lived up here. In your living room, everybody would talk.
Yeah, that's
Today,
right.
and today we are in your virtual living room.
Yeah.
And it is because of you.
Well,
Take it away, Sarah.
Can I say something? I'm muted? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. The first time I saw Mary Jo Machik perform was because Peg said we had to have her for the cabaret.
Wow. Thank you.
And yes. And Peg just, raved about you, how wonderful you were. And that's how I got to know you, which has been a blessing. And so I thank Peg for all the connections, Peg, for all the people you have introduced us to.
well, thank you.
You are just a marvel. You know everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Been a wonderful connection for me. Although I've woven in and out, but this is really feeling good to see your faces all in one glance instead of in my mind. So
Remind me again where you live.
Lenox, Massachusetts,
Oh,
up
you
in the
said that.
Berkshires, right?
That's part of my brain.
Oh, well.
Lack of brain.
I think you might have heard that poet Billy Collins wrote that after a certain point for any one of us, if you want to put something more in here, you have to take something else out. For instance, a recipe for peas. Go and you'll make room. Well, we're here to help each other remember all the important things, right? Yeah.
I think that's great, except I want to be the one to decide what is taken out.
Well, let's just ordain Martha right now. For this job.
I want to acknowledge that we've been joined by Michael Cairns and someone else. And if the two of you would like to say some words to Peg, different people have shared
Okay,
some
so
memories or.
would you hang it? I mean,
Wait a second. Yeah,
yeah, wait a second.
she'll be right back. She's got to go take a little break.
I do too.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, Lot. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Nice to see you, sir. Welcome. We'll give you, as Sarah said, hi, we'll give you a chance to say some things to Peg when she comes back. Michael Cairns is a Scottish storyteller who came and was featured at a Telebration about 15 years ago. Is that correct, Michael?
About 20 years ago.
Okay, well, my memory is going too.
It's all going.
And
So,
Michael, is
yeah,
that
no, actually, Dominic was about 8, I think, and he's 27 years ago it was.
Gosh.
And Michael, I remember you and I going to for shopping together, and how amazed you were at all the plethora of choices available in American stores.
Yeah, too much of everything.
I
Land of plenty.
That's an indelible memory.
But it hasn't changed.
No,
Hi,
it
Peg.
Hey.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Darling. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you? I'm finer not after, but while this thing is going on here. It feels so good to see people I haven't seen in a long time. Whoa. It's a gift. It's a gift.
Yes, indeed.
I'd like to say something.
It's a lovely thing to be able to do, to see you.
I'd like to know, Peg, you look like $1 million every time I look at you.
Really?
Yeah. You're hottie.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I want to give Michael.
So I met Peg about coming up for 30 years ago, I guess. I was in the Bahamas working, and I saw this. I was a storyteller, and I didn't know anything about the storytelling scene in Scotland. And there was a woman, it wasn't the Bahamas, it was Bermuda. It's all the same thing for Europeans. And there was a storytelling session there run by a woman called Florence Maxwell. And she said, folks like you, I think she meant white people, folks like you should speak to J.G. Pinkerton, Paw Paw. And I said, who's Paw Paw? And she was like this, seriously? Seriously? So I found out who Paw Paw was, and he put me in touch with Peg. And then we started communicating, and we went to meet her and Stephen in Connecticut. No, first of all, we went to where she is now in Denmark Drive. And in these days, I was kind of just a storyteller. But now, look at this Peg.
Started screen sharing. Whoa.
And a new grandchild.
That's 3 books I have out now that were just stories I made up for my own children who are now both parents. And now these books are being taught in schools pretty much across the world. And it was all because of a lot of advice and influence I got on storytelling from, in part, the American community, but essentially through Peg and her wisdom as a as a storyteller, that's one thing, but also her wisdom as a teacher, as a classroom teacher, do this, do that, and so on. And she recognized that these stories of this little boy, this Tom Thumb character, and this big hand, they offered something more for narrative in school. And it's just been a great journey, and Peg, you've been so much part of it.
Oh, thank you. That's thrilling. That is thrilling what you've done.
We have about a few minutes left. We're gonna close up at 2. Peg, is there anything you want to say to this group before we all disperse?
I am overcome. I am over. No, I don't like to say come. So what's my word? I am over.
The last thing I want to say is I'm sorry that we are so late, but we are now at almost 7 o'clock in the evening. And if you look outside of my window, you'll see it's dark.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Well, it's just
because it's night.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Oh, yes. Okay. So, yes.
So Peg, were you telling us you were overwhelmed?
No, that's not the word I want.
Oh, okay.
Just whelmed.
I'm waiting for somebody to give me the word.
Underwhelmed.
Joy.
Overjoyed?
Joy.
Hope.
Oh,
Overjoyed?
Overcharged.
Over the moon?
Yeah, I like that. I am over the moon. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Thank you. Now, send me your email so I have it up, and then when I can't remember the word, then I just say. No, I don't think it's that easy. But it's just been. It just has been remarkable. I'm happy. I'm warm. My heart is warm. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Peg, for making this possible in the first place.
We love you.
Everybody who did it.
You.
Love you. Yes.
We do. We love you.
Thank you, Peg.
And sign language, when you're not close, you do a fist kiss. So gotta kiss the back of your hand and throw it down. That's a fist kiss. Good to see you, Michael. Karen's over there, and I can't seem to chat and write it in. The last time we were with Michael and I, we performed at Clearwater together. Didn't we?
Wow. Wow.
Who's speaking? Oh, hi, Motoko. How are you doing?
Good.
Hi, Isha. How are you
How
doing?
nice to see you.
Wow, that's marvelous.
Good to see you.
Oh, that's great. So who met me at Clearwater?
Was that you, Barbara Prentice? Who said they met? Did
Yeah,
you?
Barbara.
Barbara Prentice. She looks like Barbara Prentice, only younger.
I tried. I really tried.
Oh Lord. Well,
And Miss America.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, thank you all for joining Peg
Thank
today.
you. Thank you.
Peg, you have touched so many hearts. You've touched so many spirits. And whenever your time comes to transition to the other side, there's a story called The Cowtail Switch that as long as the person's name is spoken, will never be forgotten. Peg, you are not going to be forgotten for centuries.
Thank you.
And we love you.
I love you all.
Sarah, you're going to be closing us out by cutting off the recording?
I think it will just shut off when I end the meeting. Is that right, Eshu? Does that
Yeah.
sound right?
Yeah, then there'll be an end recording button when you shut the meeting off.
Okay.
Eshu, before we close out, is there a quick song you could end us with, Peg?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I can't do the video thing immediately right now, but I just want to make sure that, you know, people let me know if you want to send her a personal message. And Jeanette, can Jeanette come out of hiding for a second?
Yeah, I'm here.
I need you to talk to me on the phone, and we're gonna reset the password, okay?
Okay. All right. All right.
We'll talk this afternoon.
Yes, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So Peg, before we go, I'm going to ask everybody to grab either a glass or a metaphorical glass. And we're going to say cheers to Peg 3 times. And Sarah, after that.
Wait, I actually had a song when you mentioned it to Eshu. So, can we do a song?
And Sarah, your song.
Okay, I thought maybe we could sing. Most people are gonna need to be on mute, but my favorite things, because my sense from listening to people, Mary Jo, do you know the words of my favorite things? Okay, I have the words. Okay, I will.
Raindrops on roses and
I have them here. I just thought Mary Jo would be lovely to hear her voice, but I'll start. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Wait. You know what? If we all sing, you need to mute yourself because there of the lag that works with. So I think somewhere I have power to do that. Okay. So please sing along, but we won't hear one another. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. And Peg, I think for every one of us, everyone who's been here, you are one of the people we think of if we're feeling sad, if we're feeling discouraged, if we're feeling we can't keep going, if we feel like everybody's saying no to us. The knowledge of you and all you've, you come into our hearts and that you give us strength to keep going. You have that power. Whether it's when the bee stings or whether we're just feeling discouraged. I know from speaking for myself, thinking of Peg O'Sullivan helps me shift away from those scared, dark feelings and feel reinvigorated to keep going.
And if we can grab a metaphorical glass or a real one. And 3 times cheers to Peg O'Sullivan, and then Sarah, we're done. Cheers to Peg.
Peg.
Cheers to
Cheers. to
Peg.
Peg.
Cheers.
God bless you.
Bye.
man.
Bye.
Bye, love you.
Bye,
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Barbara. Bye.
Bye.
That's marvelous, man.
Great to see you, Michael.
Michael, thank you for putting the words in the chat. Did you
Yeah.
do that?
That was me.
Yeah, I skipped the middle verse, just so you know.
Big boy did it and then he ran away.
Thank you, SU.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you, Peg.
Love you too.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm crying, Peg. I'm very teary right now.
I know. Me too. And those are tears of joy, baby. Those are tears of joy. I mean, you got on sexy pink. Done, and your toenails are done. These are tears of joy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you. Love you, Sarah. God bless.
Love you too.